I'm Mollica.
Hi, I'm Sasha Almazan.
And we have G Mollica Studio, and we have GS Photography that we also have, and that's a stock site, and that's our photography service. So we have a branding company, G Mollica Studio, and we have photography. So today we're going to do a quick demo on how we set up our shoots and why we do what we do. And probably a lot of you in this room are compositors yourself, or you've created some covers, or you work with designers who are creating covers, and maybe you've got some questions as to whether or not to use stock, or what the benefits are of using custom photography, or a mix of that. So,
any photographers in here today?
Any photographers? Okay, great. So we're going to be shooting with a Mamiya, medium-sized format. We use this because in the nature of our business, we like a lot of flexibility with lights and shadows. We typically bring shadows into the shots for mood. This gives us high dynamic range. That's incredible. We also have a Canon Mark, but this is our go-to. And then we've got ProPhoto monolights. We usually have 4 in our studio, but today we've got 3.
This is off.
Is it off, or is it just a? So yeah, we've got a model with us that we've been shooting with for a long time. She's a dear friend.
This is Devin.
Devin, come on up, Devin. And she's a great collaborator. So yeah. Sasha usually does all the hair and makeup and photography. I do a lot of photography and compositing. We both design the covers together. So yeah, we're going to move into this.
All right, so I'll take the camera, and should we talk about the lighting?
Let me do one thing. So, well, we've got just a 3-point light system. We're going to have a fill here. We're using a deep octa, which is fabulous. I mean, most of the tools we use have silver liners, just because we want as much reflection and contrast as we can get. And then we've just got 2 simple rim lights. We brought other soft boxes. I'm not sure we'll get to them because they're a little time-consuming to set up. But that's how we're going to run this. So, Devin, step on in here. And step there for a minute. Just stay there for a sec. And then we'll just shoot you at that. And some of these lightings, the light is going to go right past her. Yeah. What's up? Fall asleep? Oh, hold on. Let me
Check my
The trigger was off. It just fell asleep. Yeah. So we're capturing into Capture One, which is a fantastic capture software, which I would totally recommend. Far superior to Photoshop's RAW.
It's dark.
Yeah.
Dark in here.
It is. So the camera's having a little trouble. This lighting's a little odd, but we're getting a great capture already. And then, so let's say we're shooting a cover and we want a moonlit setup or a sense of moonlight. We'll just stay there, bring in a little bit more rim light. But don't shoot it yet. Okay, go for it.
We like to get at least one with one
Yeah.
in the background.
Yeah. So, you've got a nice rim right there. So if you're compositing this shot, you've already got this great light, to work with. You may not even have to paint that in. It's already there. I mean, it's all about saving yourself time and energy and also getting a fantastic result. That looks pretty darn good. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask as we go.
Any advice on models who have never shot before?
Don't use them. So the question was, any advice on models who have never shot before? Okay, they're not a model if they've never shot before. If they want to start modeling, use them as a test. If it works out, great, terrific. But we run into this all the time too. Devin's a professional model. She was with Wilhelmina in New York. That's how we met. We met 15 years ago. To save ourselves anxiety and our client, we usually use modeling agencies for two reasons. One, we get the rights and usage straight. It's contractual. And they're also professional. So it matters on a couple of levels. One, size. And then, of course, you can get any size you want. But the size is usually, whether it's a 12 or a 2 or a 4 or a 6, it's going to look great. It's something that the agencies are really good about figuring out. So we don't have to, because we do shoot all sizes.
And if you do use a modeling agency, make sure you get the, they call it the fitness board. So a fitness board is, you have models that they're more comfortable moving, because the fashion models or the beauty models, they're used to just posing like this, standing very, very still, or like walking a runway. But it's definitely better to have someone who's from the fitness board, because
we've actually
gonna be more movement, and we've had a lot of models come in where we need them to do martial arts or
right, yeah.
What else have we had?
Martial arts.
Yeah, a lot of props, a lot of swords.
Swords.
You know, it's really good to ask if they're comfortable with weapons. Are they comfortable holding a gun? It's a fake gun, but are they comfortable holding it? Are they comfortable with swords? Do they need? We had someone come.
It's a good point.
Who was
it really is.
Former Olympian archer, and we actually needed. It was for Ella Summers' cover, and we needed her to hold a bow and arrow. And she was like, "Well, I was on the Olympic archery team." We're like, "That's a score."
Yeah, I mean, professional talent. We've run into this so many times where you bring a professional in, and they might do some acting. They're doing a lot of modeling. I mean, we prefer models over actors. But they'll have this background. They'll do horseback riding. They'll do fencing. We had a commission where we needed somebody who had what kind of, it was Jeff Pantanella's series. And so we needed somebody who could have kicks, theoretically. We didn't expect to actually hire a model who knew martial arts. We just wanted somebody who looked like it. But this guy came in and he was actually able to do everything.
He was up in there. He's like, no problem.
Yeah.
Jumped up into the air, and we have him actually, it's on one of the posters. Did you bring that?
It is. So I think that point is that you're collaborating with professional talent. They're going to bring more to the process.
Absolutely.
So go for that. If you can't afford it, do it.
Let's do that.
Can you tell us about the prices of a photo shoot like this?
Okay, so most modeling agencies have an hourly rate of $150 for their talent, and then they charge a commission per hour, about 20%. So you're looking at $180. Now that's a fitness board. Fitness boards are swimsuit boards. So modeling agencies break it down, as Sasha was saying, to runway, fitness and athletics, wedding, lifestyle. There's a whole bunch. And they're typically lower. They run that's about the average. But you're going to have to probably a 4-hour minimum or more. So if we're shooting a series and the author has maybe 10 books in a series, I would say that's a full day shoot for sure. Maybe 6 hours of shooting.
Yeah, along those lines, let's say if you could put a round figure on it, how many hours for one cover for a book?
Well, one cover could be the actual photo time could be 20 minutes.
Okay.
I mean, it's like an hour to set it up. It's probably, if it's a female and you're having professional hair and makeup, that's going to take an hour. So the actual shoot time could be very quick if you know exactly what you want. And again, assuming you're working with somebody who's really good, then you get it pretty quick.
But that would still be like 4 total hours charged, which would be fair for the model.
Yeah. So if you have a female model come in, you typically always hire, Sasha is a professional hair and makeup artist herself, and so she does all of that. And she does a lot of wigs and special effects. And believe it or not, the difference between a fantastic model like Devin doing her makeup and Sasha doing it is a world of difference. We did not do professional makeup today because that's a huge case, and we already brought a lot of cases. But again, as you're creating a product, you want to put the best foot forward in every single step. So just to say, professional hair and makeup definitely would be good.
Please.
So it takes money to get this done.
Yeah.
What tips do you have before the model shows up to make sure that you have your act together so you're not flailing
to give you a microphone. Could you repeat that?
Should we mic?
Yeah, what do you do ahead of time to make sure you're completely squared away and ready to go so you're not wasting your model's time and money? As far as
Creative briefs.
props and what have you.
Yeah. 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 Oh.
This is on.
Okay.
So.
Oh, Sasha, that lab isn't working. Okay, so
Hello?
let me answer the question. So, okay, what Sasha's going to... Oh,
It's working.
you got it?
But it's not pick. Oh, you just have to speak very close.
Okay, because this costs money, you don't want to waste your money or the model's time. What do you do ahead of time? What tips do you have as far as making sure you're completely ready to go so you're not flailing in terms of props or expectations and clothes,
Absolutely.
etc.?
So you're saying as the author, is that right? So what we do is we have a shot list, and we send that to every author before we start. It's weeks before, because we want to make sure that, first of all, you choose your model. So let's say you contacted us and you say, I'm very interested in doing this shoot. We say, great, we talk it out, we send you a contract. From there, we then send model choices. So we'll get in touch with the agencies. We'll try and get as close to what you're looking for, whether it's hair color, but if you want someone who has blue hair, I'll get a wig, and I'll create whatever it is that you're looking for. If you, so then the shot list will go out to you, and then you're going to explain to us exactly what you're looking for in the model. Then you're going to explain to us what each shot should be. What do you want your cover to look like? So you're going to label everything for us. You're going to give us all this information and say, right?
Yeah, and we develop it with you.
Yeah. So you would say, okay, book one is an outdoor scene. It's raining, it's night, and we say, okay, great. So is that like, are there stars in the sky? Like, then we light it. So when we shoot for that first book, that is our main focus, is to set that lighting up, right? So that's why we always use gels.
Yeah, we will gel our studio all up. So if we're creating a shot like this, we're going to gel that. We're going to light for that. If this is going to be a concept that came in, we discussed it.
And then what happens is the lighting that we're using, it then reflects onto the model. So then later on when we go back to do the cover, and we do the cover design on it, we don't have to add those shadows. We've already created those for, this model is Jordan, for Jordan, and we're getting all of this. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe we'll just pass it around if you want to take a look at any of these. So let's say you have at least 5 books.
Pass them around.
We then will have you outline the 5 books
There you
and
are.
tell us what's going on. And then we ask you to tell us a little bit about your
Sorry,
story.
Caroline, I
Like what's
upside down.
happening in that book. So then it's better for our model to really understand what they're doing, right? So we give the model the same paper that you give us, like all the information that you're giving us. She then gets to read it, and then she gets into the character, right? So she wants to become that character for you. So if there's magic, when I said to her, let's do some with magic, she's then going like this. Is the magic coming from the hands? Is the magic coming from the palm? Is it the fingers? Is there a sword? Like she, how does she wield the sword? Sorry, how does she wield the sword? So I talk a lot with my hands. So it's really important for the author to get us all this information. Like you said, otherwise it's a waste of time. You're just trying to guess what it is, right? So
Including costumes, including
costumes,
wardrobe,
everything.
water effects, smoke effects.
Yeah.
Well, we don't do a lot of smoke anymore, but we used to all the time.
Yeah. Water, we like to, we have a huge fan.
Yeah.
We have the fan
Yeah,
going
a lot
and
of
we
fans.
spray water.
So,
I think maybe Devin's been
basically,
sprayed with water.
I think we feel like if we're going to give you, by analyzing, say, 10 ideas, you probably accidentally come up with 20.
Right.
I mean, you're going to wind up with so much material. So it's all about developing a lot of creative ideas and having all that to work with when we go to
You end
lay out
up
the
with
covers.
about 800 shots. So it's very difficult for you then, because this is what's in your mind, what you've created is now before you, right? So we want to get that as close as possible. And then you have the job of choosing, one photo for that cover, right? And so more books you have, the better.
Yeah, and if you have to cobble from there, you're cobbling things from the same angles. And Miss, you have a question?
One here. Oh, okay.
I can pass that mic around.
All right.
So I write, can you hear me? I write romance, and so in a series I would have different main characters for each one.
Right.
Would you be able to accommodate that, or would I need to have like all these different models?
We've done it.
Yeah.
We can do anything you want to invest
Right.
in.
Yeah.
We've had plenty of authors come in. Carol Banata, you had 2 unique models on each of your covers, and you had, what, a series of 5? Okay, so we've done that many times. And then, in that case, again, we would discuss that in the creative brief. We'd know exactly what you want to shoot with that concept.
Here we go. Okay. So if they're all different costumes, would they so each? Oh, okay, okay.
But
Okay, in that case,
And not a lot of work on my end for the costuming, so that's totally fine. We actually do, we have them do push-ups before the shoot. So we have them really, get the veins going.
that day we work them out.
Oh yeah, I'm like, okay, let's get 10 push-ups. I want to see some crunches. I want to see some definition in there, and then, and then we spray them with water.
We work 'em. I mean, you're going to get your money's worth for sure. Yeah. So, any other questions right now?
One sec. Yeah. Let's turn that off, and I got to turn this off.
You know,
Yeah, they can. Software, and the thing people just maybe move a little bit faster in the creative process, or they use. I think there's a bunch of tools out
Speak
there.
into your mic.
We use mine's kind of going in and out too. So the answer is we use every tool in the book. We use all kinds of 3D software if we want to. A lot of times we might sit there and start in 3D, but it's just easier for us to use photography and Photoshop. I think there's times when it's very convenient. Let's say you've done a shoot. We use DAS on some of our shoots. But I think overall, the best effect and the most efficient is photography. I mean, and we've heard that from our clients over and over. So, but to accommodate all of our clients, we will also have 3D software to help us out
Yeah.
where we need to.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Let's get some more done.
Yeah. So we're going to shoot again.
What's that? Mine's working. You want to use mine? Here.
Well, I'm good right now.
Maybe you're on mute or something. I don't know. Here, take mine. Take mine. We'll just stand.
Can you ask that question again? Here, let me step over to you, and then we'll mic you, and I'll answer.
Would you use the same formula that you just described to us for book covers for branding or advertisements?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, yeah, that's the only way to do it. I mean, probably unlike a lot of advertising agencies out there, we work very, very closely with our clients. And, Sasha and I kind of represent a number of skills that usually in one photo shoot would represent 3 or 4 people. And so we have a lot of ability to kind of collaborate with our clients. And yeah, I would absolutely do it that way. Yeah, no doubt. There's no difference. Yeah.
So you said earlier that one photo shoot may result in like 800 photos, but you only need to pick 5. What happens to the remaining? And if they're still available, would you be able to use them, like say like 3 years down the road, you wanted to rebrand and do a different cover?
Yeah, so we wouldn't shoot 800 shots for one cover. So if you had just one cover, you'd get enough for one cover, one idea. We wouldn't overwhelm you like that. That'd be pointless. Maybe give 100. I mean, we are a little excessive, but if you had one cover, you know, we might go as far as 75 to 100 shots. But generally, we try to measure, let's say it's 8. We try to go in ranges of 75, maybe 50 to 75 per cover concept. I mean, the most we've done is maybe 12 concepts in a day. We try to keep it around 10. But the photos, when you contract with us, are yours. So they're not reused. And we archive everything. We've got servers and we back everything up. So yeah, the material would be safe. It's not going to be used. It's non-transferable. It's all contractual. So you go through a contract with us, and we would discuss it. That's typically how it works. Yeah. I feel like Phil Donahue.
In terms of like sourcing models, do you have just like a list of them, or like, because I get really specific about like the look of a character because it's so in your head, you know, like.
Yeah, totally. So that's another reason why it's good to use modeling agencies, because we can source a lot fast. We go to like 3 or 4 agencies, look at the best that we've got, and hopefully, typically, it works out. So that's kind of what we do. Yeah, and then we've also got a lot of people we've worked with. We make recommendations too, but yeah, hair and makeup, wigs, special effects, all that stuff Sasha was mentioning. That we do a lot. We've had a lot of, blonde talent we look for, let's say, just as an example, and they come in, they've dyed their hair, and they weren't honest with their portfolios. That's another reason why we use agencies. Those books should be up to date. Yeah.
That has happened. So we've had
Yeah, we've had everything.
and the author was very specific. She chose very long hair, like wavy, and Mollica, and it's like a bob and then I happen to have a lot of wigs, so I was able to put the wig on. But really, when you're choosing a model, try to get as close to the hair coloring that you're looking for, because for cover designers, some people have a harder time doing hair. I'm sure you all have had this experience. And wigs are, if it's not a good wig, it would leave a really harsh line. So then they try to like wisp that, and then it ends up looking really soft and painted rather than looking like real hair. So you definitely want to try and get as close as you possibly can to the hair color, unless it's, like I was saying, if it's like purple, something like that. And when you have, let's say, ears, let's say your main character is an elf, and I always put ears on, we've put claws on, we use a lot of Hollywood dirt, and we use a lot of blood. So not real blood. There's fake blood that we use. It all comes off. But we definitely have to add all of that because it's so much harder to add it later. So like we were saying for the photo shoots, when you do give us that shot list, you have all that information. Were they in a battle? Are they battling a werewolf? And we rip clothes. There's rips in the clothes. There's dirt on the clothes. There could be blood on the knuckles. These are all things that you want to give them every bit of detail that you can. Right? Because then you're going to get a much better photo.
If you find a model when you're perusing stock that you love, what are the chances of actually tracking down that model?
So you found an image of a model. Where'd you find the stock? I don't know. Okay, so likely they're not going to give you any information because they shouldn't, and we wouldn't either. So I'd say, I don't know. I would say it's unlikely. I mean, go for it if you want. But they're not probably wanting to do that legally. So, yeah. I mean, I would just keep looking. Whatever talent you get, you want to make sure you contract that and get the rights sorted, and that's the best way to do it.
Does anyone have anything specific they would like Devin to do? Like if you like this.
Yeah. In fact.
Can you give like any tips as far as posing, like lying down or within like for your face, like how to like shield if you're doing like a fantasy sequence where someone is kind of like shielding from the light or from an attack?
Let's do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's just show you how we do that. Okay, so your hands up and you're guarding yourself from the light that's coming at you.
And we give them a lot of direction. It's really important to speak with the model, right? Because we love Devin, and we like to give some direction.
So also some of the things we might do. We might angle the light towards that hand a little bit. If we're really going after that concept. But let's see what the light does. I mean, we've got a pretty good rim on it now.
Let's say the light's coming this way, and then you.
Yeah. We should catch it. Yeah. You want to hire professionals? Look at that.
And then it's like, then we're gonna like away from it. Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. You gotta slow up. Yeah.
This place is a little slow. Just he means. Does anyone want to see anything else from Devin?
The more direction as a model we get from you authors, I mean, it makes like light and day difference. So I mean, like Sasha said too, it really helps us kind of like really try to be that character, whether I'm fierce or in a romance. You know, I've done kind of either, you know, I've played like a vampire killer, or, you know, I've done all sorts of spectrums. So it's really important as a model to have as much info on the character as possible to really embody your vision, you know.
Any other pose you want to see? Be fair.
I didn't have a question, but
A pose? You want to see a pose? What's that?
Yeah, we're going to do the next up. Okay?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Does anyone want to take a photo with Devin before we change her outfit? I see two hands.
There's a lot of romance authors in here, and so how do you, if there's a male counterpart or a female counterpart, how do you handle the chemistry of trying to do an intimate scene?
Not gonna lie, my first romance, I was like, okay, do I need to take a shot before this, or how are we gonna do it? To be perfectly honest, but no, it was fine. I mean, it's really casual, you know, when you're like walking into set. The more opportunity, you know, that like Jean is great about giving me, and if I have a male counterpart, like a little time just to kind of schmooze and get to know each other on just like a personal level. Right, but it's not like, you know, the first time we talk is on set. So it really helps when we get there, we, you know, talk about just, you know, basic things, our lives a little bit, and then so we get on set, we're more comfortable with each other. But, I mean, I've dealt with shirtless men before, and it's, you know, not a bad gig. I don't hate it.
Well, you know,
My husband probably doesn't love it, but I don't mind it.
It also goes back to our shot list. So, you know, we take the
Yeah.
work seriously, no matter how half
Right.
naked they are.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you're following a brief. And so it kind of makes it official that this has to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, I've never had to like kiss somebody for, you know, for a cover, but it's, you know, you want the illusion that they're like, we're about to kiss, or that your characters are about to kiss. There's that chemistry. So I mean, we've gotten real close. Then you kind of just, you know,
And then I time
do
them out.
the
Yeah.
do the
And then we're
different
like, wait.
angles nearby the face, but to create that illusion, you know. But
Or the camera's stuck. We have to change the battery. Hold that position.
yeah. But I think photographers are great too, where there was like did have one male model that was just kind of a little, I don't want to say he wasn't creepy, but he
With
was
us?
just a little, no, not with you guys,
Never-
with a different
never.
photographer, but there's just, wasn't
No.
as comfortable,
Yeah.
we'll just say. And that photographer like picked up on it pretty quick too. So, which I know you guys would too, luckily
He'd
I
be out
haven't
the door
had
in a hot
that,
second.
you know,
Yeah.
with you guys
Yeah.
by any means, but so photographers are, you know, you guys can pick that up if something's not feeling a little right, and then you might
Mhm.
have to reshoot.
Go with
if,
your gut.
you know,
Yeah. If it.
but
So yeah, it gets back to working with professionals and knowing who you're hiring and where they're coming from, and so that's another reason why we do what we do, because we've had all kinds of situations where we've thought about not going through agencies, but that opens you up to a lot of problems potentially.
Yeah. Also, when you go with an agency, they already have a contract, right? So you're not going to get any pushback from the model later, like changing their mind. Maybe they can't contact you and say like, I don't want you to use those photographs anymore. If you go through an agency, they've already done that job. The job is gone and out the door, and now you have those photos forever. Those are your images. Yes. Yeah.
So do you want to change, and we'll do the action concepts even without weapons, I guess. What? Oh,
Okay, so you said more information you can have, the better.
yeah.
I can create a fantasy world that will kick ass. You ask me what I want on a cover, and I go, girl, boy, sword.
No, I get it. Yeah, we get it. No, there's authors who are very, very capable of describing everything they want, and there's authors. We've got a really nice gentleman right now who never tells us what he wants.
He never tells. He doesn't tell us anything. But what I figured out what works is I asked him to send us a story. So I said, write a story and send it to us so that I can understand what you're looking for. And tell me about this world that your character is living in. So then we can understand from that point how we're going to do the photo shoot. And also it helps when it comes to the compositing. So you don't have to say like, you just have to tell us what does your character look like? It's a girl, it's a boy, what do they look like? And then you just tell us the story. Some people, there's many different ways that we get the shot list. However you fill in the blanks, that's up to you. If we feel it's not enough information, we'll go back to you and we'll say, you gotta give us a little bit more. And if you just say, I'm a writer, I can't, we say, then write a story for us so that we can then understand what you're looking for. There's many ways for you to get that information to us.
Do you ever use, like, if I could send like other sample covers from other like big selling, in the genre?
Sending competition.
Yeah, so you get a feel for what the
Yes.
genre is supposed
Yes.
to look like? 'Cause that's how
Pinterest is fantastic for that because you can share your board with your photographer. So you can create a board like, I really love the way that this cover turned out. I love how this model looks. I love, the rain and the effect on that. But that's it. But you do have to explain what it is that you like about it, because otherwise we just look at it, and like, okay, so you want one of those. But you have to tell us what it is that you like about it. So don't just send the pictures. You could say like, this one's all about the hand movement. So when we worked with Lucinda Brandt, and she is historical romance, and
Yeah, that was incredible. They said it's hand poses.
hand poses,
Yeah.
oil paintings, photos of oil paintings, and how the hand should be slightly turned, fingers out, like to a T. And the model, it took a while for that posing, but it could be very, very specific. So it's really helpful to the photographers and the models.
And don't feel like this happens too. After we've done all this analysis and we figured this all out, everything changes after we've handed the photography over. So it's a very malleable situation, but it goes back to just be as prepared as possible, bring in as much good stuff as possible, and you're going to get a lot of good stuff in. Like in photography, we always say, garbage in, garbage out. So everything's about just getting the best stuff together you can.
Yeah.
It'll
yeah.
work.
Yeah. Also, question?
Yeah, so I was just going to ask, do you recommend ever doing a photo shoot on location, or do you guys typically do the in-person shots in a studio and then combine that with like forest scenes or castle scenes or whatever else?
We'd love to shoot a castle scene on location.
If you would like us to go to a castle and shoot in a castle, we would love to do that.
I don't know why they haven't asked for that.
Please ask us to go to a castle in Scotland, preferably.
We fly. We'll fly.
Our model will fly. We have a studio in Manhattan, and that's where we shoot out of. Location, we have not done, no, right? Because the lighting is so different, you'd have no idea what the sky is going to look like that day. You don't know if it's going to rain that day. So if you get everything packed up and you go outside and you're going to do this shoot and it starts raining, that's money down the drain.
I mean, if you're going to do the kind of work that we do, which is mostly fantasy and science fiction, I mean, these monolights could go outside. In theory, you could do it. But if it's not practical because your cover doesn't require it, then why would you do it? If you need a scene of Central Park because your character's in Central Park and it's more of a celebrity piece, well, yeah, then that would make sense. But for what we do normally, no.
We've done headshots outside.
Yeah,
I take that back.
Like if we had a big,
for an author, for his book.
That's right.
Yeah.
Who was it?
And Frank also.
Right. Yeah. So we do a lot of professional headshots.
We
will go on location, but if it's whatever's practical to the project.
Yeah. Can I just go back to the question that someone had asked about? It was about the covers, and I think you misunderstood what I was saying. Is if you give us the information for 4 books, we shoot all 4 of those books. Those covers that day. So that's how you end up with like 800 shots. If you've got 4 to 6 books, 10 books, you're going to get a lot of images, but I meant to say that you're going to pick 1 shot for book 1, 1 shot for book 2, 3, 4, etc. And then you could also use those shots for your banners. You could use them, you definitely are, if you're at 3 books, you're going to want to have a book, what is it called?
Box set.
Box set, thank you. A box set. And you want to have a different piece of art on the cover of your box set, right? Because your audience has already purchased book 1, 2, and 3. Why do they want to have that same cover again? You have to give them something different. So that's about your branding. So you're branding yourself, right? And you have maybe a logo. So you've created a logo. Why not put the logo on top of that box set? So it's really thinking outside of the box. So, do you want to pop up here and have a little photo with Devin? 1 quick photo? And then she's going to change into something else. Oh, go ahead, please. No, she's going to just take a quick picture. Go ahead, ask a question.
Okay. Just wanted to ask on pricing, so compared to how much a shoot would be alone to getting an image like that, what would the pricing difference be?
So the question was on pricing. Okay, so the way we shoot, we create packages because we're really a branding company. The photography services that we have, we sort of bundle with our book packaging. It just works out better. Mostly because the photo shoots are so expensive that if we weren't going to do the branding, it would just get more expensive. We'd rather make it more valuable to you because we don't actually charge a studio fee for photography. We build that into our cover branding. The services you're paying for at the photo shoot are model, any hair and makeup, any props. It's all listed out. You buy that separately. It's done. And then all the covers become a la carte, along with the paperbacks, audios, banners, whatever else you need. So that's how we try to make it affordable for indies. And we hope that works. And of course, with the creative briefs, we try to make it if it's only a 3-hour shoot, we shoot for 3 hours. It's all budgeted, you know what's going on. Does that answer? Is that pretty good? Well, okay, so let's say average $800 for the model fee for the day, and then you have hair and makeup all day, and that's gonna be another $900 on average, because we have a very, very talented hair and makeup artist. The best in the city is actually Sasha. Wow, what a convenient situation that is. So those are the typical costs. So it's going to come in around $1,600 maybe to $2,000 on average. So for people who have book series, 3, 4, 5 books, it starts to become very economical and practical. If you have one, it really is all up to the client. Like we said, we've had clients hire, 2 models, unique models on every cover. So it's whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then somebody asked about the 3D modeling. This is DAS and photography put together.
Gene, come here.
So the so the author, I'm not sure. So the author had this fantastic idea, and so we shot the model, and then we just went into DAS and modeled the metal effect.
Because she turns into a cyborg. So
Which
book
is awesome.
1 was totally different. 2, her arm was changing, so we did her arm in DAS. And then, not sure which, this was towards the end, and you can see that her legs and her whole body became metal.
Yeah. Then we paint over the whole thing.
And then but this is our model. That's her face. That's her body. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Devin is changing for us. Yes?
I have a question about that process. So you do the shoot. How long is post-production usually for you to create those kinds of images?
Go ahead. That's yours. That's your question.
It depends on how fast Sasha works. Okay? If she's not in the mood to work fast that day, it may not go. So it varies from a day to
The
maybe
shoot?
day and a half.
The shoot? Like
The
how
whole
long is
production.
the whole...
The cover creation. Yeah.
Depends
well,
on...
I would say, okay, average what?
Wait, like to
A
make
day?
one cover?
2 days.
What?
2 days, on average a day and a half. Oh, well,
No,
from
no.
finish. Oh, okay, from the time you select the shot. Okay, let's say you select the shot and you brought it into, okay, I want the cover. I mean, from the time we initiate making it, it could be a day and a half before you get, your first round. And of course, like many of our clients, you might have a couple of rounds of changes.
Yeah.
And so
You definitely are going to come back to us several times. Like, maybe twice.
Yeah.
Someone has said, okay, perfect. But
which makes us nervous, actually.
I know, it's like something is not right.
Right, well, we'd like to see some changes.
But a shoot is usually one full day.
Yeah.
And then I'm just,
And
dead
then
to the
on
world.
the title part, as Carol pointed out,
Okay.
we do the same thing.
Right.
So with a campaign that we start, we do an initial type of exploration of the title treatment and series branding. That's a separate fee too, because we want to spend a lot of time on it. We might know, we kind of have a team of designers we work with. We do a lot of it ourselves, but so that's for logo development and series titles and title treatments, we treat that as a separate, we address that very seriously at once. And then once that's approved, we fulfill that throughout the whole series.
Yeah, we usually ask the authors to take a look, like have an idea of what you want your title treatment to look like, and then come to us. But show us examples. It's really important. And think about it. Think about it long and hard. And we can, we'll send you a couple different options, and also about your name placement, and show us what you like. Find examples. I like how this name looks here. I like there's a drop shadow on that. Like all these things really, really make the cover pop. It's really like there's so much to think about. I'm sure you know that. I mean, you took how long does it take you to write your book? Anyone? 6 months?
Hopefully longer it takes us to
6 weeks? 3. Okay, exactly. So you worked that hard, right? And that long. So think about your cover. You want people to grasp your story. You worked so hard on that story. You want it to be represented on your cover, right? What you want people to buy that book, but you can judge a book by its cover. So that is definitely. So Devin is back, and now we're going to do a little urban fantasy here.
All right. I'm gonna put these down, I guess.
Oh, shoot.
We don't. You want to use an umbrella as a sword?
Oh yeah.
Okay. We're gonna use an umbrella as a sword.
Did anyone bring their sword? Anyone?
Let's see if a better weapon.
Put it on the plate.
All right. Do your worst.
You don't make Devin use any first. She's fierce already.
Nice. Beautiful. Looking great. What do you guys think? Isn't that great looking? It's a little, that's not bad, right? Okay. Put a little mist and a moon in there, and it's all 1,000 bucks. It's a great job. Take the umbrella out. Take it out?
How about the sword over your head?
That looks great. That looks great. Maybe we should change up the lighting.
Yep, let's
Okay,
change the lighting.
so what can we do to do that?
Why don't we go dark and stormy?
We're very bright. So
We're going to go dark and stormy.
yeah, we're gonna okay. So we're gonna color our clothes a little bit. So a lot of times we're probably it depends what we want to do. We need a shot.
Okay, go ahead. There's always one of those. What's that? Yeah. I'm going to bring you this microphone so you
We
can.
mess around with so much color. I mean, the other thing you could do, you know.
Okay. So when you're changing out the gel shots, do you normally stick to like primary colors, or does it depend on like the mood, depending on the genre of what you decide to use?
The gels don't even come in. We use all kinds of colors. It's mostly the mood. So if it's like a sunset, we might load up with a lot of warm gels. It does two things really. It kind of knocks down the f-stop. So you're getting just a little bit more mellow a shot off the bat. And then when you go into Photoshop, you can manipulate that really nicely. And you can also change like that bright purple you see on that rim shot, that rim light. You can adjust that. That'll change out. You know, you're not stuck with it necessarily.
I have one more
It just
question.
keys the color.
I'm sorry.
It just tells us what the color keys are, you know.
Okay, cool. And then I have one more question. I noticed when you were taking her shots that you did a lot of slow still movements, which I love. Is that mainly because of like you don't have to change your aperture or anything like that on your camera, just in general, or? Okay.
Exactly. So,
Okay.
well, no, you got to be careful. So when you hear those lights beep, those lights have been recharged. So we can't move faster than the recharge on the lights. And then this lens is actually allows you to shoot at higher shutter speeds. Most cameras or lenses don't have that. So you have to just be careful. You have to go slower. So Devin knows that she can't move until she hears that beep.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So the model who's experienced knows to hold. Look, I don't know if you heard me say hold, hold. So when they have weapons, what happens is you're holding a weapon and you want to do this, right? Because you're you can't help yourself. So when she's moving, she's in, and I say hold, because she's exactly where I want her to be, right? And also, when you're shooting with weapons, you want to make sure that, so when you're holding, can you hold that like you're holding a sword? So right now, because in my mind this is a sword, and Devin is also using this as a sword, she already knows how to put her hand like this so that we can get the blade. So most people will hold it like this. We can't work with that blade, right? Because it's just like this weird piece. So we would have to then go to find a shot in those 800 shots and take the hand off, silo this all out, and then replace it, right? Put it in the shot. But Devin is experienced, so she knows how to hold her hand so that we can actually see the weapon. So it's really important to guide your model that way, for sure. Questions? do some back shots too. Can't hear you.
There's just a little delay. These file sizes are about 120 megs each. That's a ton of information. You have a question?
I don't know if you answered this already, but why do you guys shoot on medium format instead of like full frame?
Yeah, I can
or
demonstrate
or
that.
any other format? I'm just
So
wondering.
here's where it matters. Here's where it matters. We didn't really, okay, let's say we're moving really quickly, and we like shadows in our shots. So when you get your okay, this is a good one. So here you've got your capture. It's not as crystal clear there for you as it is here for me, but there's a lot of darks in here. And you might say, what am I going to do with this? It's so dark. If this were a 35 millimeter format, you'd have a lot of breaks. You'd have a lot of areas where the gradation would just cut off. It's called, what's it called? Clipping. You can go white too hard, you can go black too hard, and you can't go back. When you have a medium format, you got a lot of forgiveness built in. So it goes back to what we were saying earlier. You just want the best setup. So, there's so much information there. So all of those blue gene areas, you could just reprocess this several times to get all the detail you want. If that were 35 millimeter, you wouldn't have that flexibility. And then the other thing you want to do is use good capture software like Capture One here. That's just really strong software. Let's say the magenta, you can't stand that. And it's like, why did I hire someone who used magenta gels? I'm never going to hire them again.
They look amazing.
So you can also kick that out. I'm not exactly sure where that is, but you definitely can do it. But you can control your hue. I mean, this software allows for a lot of adjusting. So yeah, so that's the reason for the medium format, flexibility and forgiveness. Because you as a client, we want to make sure we can deliver no matter what. Pretty good. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome with an umbrella, folks. Jeez. Only a pro can do that.
Let's do some without the umbrella, so that we don't have to take that out of here.
Let's get the umbrella out of here.
Let's get umbrellas out of here. Magic hands.
Yeah. Lightning coming out.
How about throw it at me? I love that. There. So I think you're creating, woo, rain. Let's take the like to see any other poses? Do you have any ideas? Thoughts? Question? Question? Whoa, whoa.
Like being threatened or frightened?
Yeah.
That's it, just asking for horror poses, threatened or frightened.
Great. One sec.
Vampire? Right on. Yeah.
Think of that.
I think so.
You have been a vampire.
Yeah.
So first, forward or
Go right.
Yeah, we fire like crazy. Nice. So, the other reason why medium fire is really good, we'll do some close-ups, really show you the quality. Oh, don't take shot. We're going to have to use these on cover.
Yeah. And the fan, they love when you put the fan on.
Oh, yeah, this is all that.
Fan. Her hair would just be like blowing like that.
the vampire.
Yeah, vampire runs like that.
I thought I was telling you.
Let's do some walking. So 2 steps back to 2 steps.
To get back to the question on medium format cameras versus 35, so we're shooting full length, but we could come in on this and shoot and get just a fabulous portrait as well. And I think that flexibility is amazing. I mean, it's just a little bit of an investment, but worth it. Oh, that's fabulous. Look at that. Look how badass that is. All right. Excellent. These look great. These look amazing, right? Excellent. These are fabulous. I mean, just even without seeing her eyes, I know she's scared. I mean, it just looks fabulous. Really great stuff. Yeah, I'm going to turn that rim down. So we get some different effects here. What are we at here?
Any other poses? Any questions?
It's not that high.
Yes.
Hi there. When you're dealing with talent like Devin, who obviously has a lot of experience as a book cover model, how different is that than dealing with someone that you just pick from a catalog or something who may or may not have those skills? How much easier is it to deal with someone like her versus kind of training as you go?
With Devin, it's a breeze. Yeah. Go ahead, Devin.
I do catalog stuff too, so I think for these guys, they'll probably also ask, you know, once a model's picked, they'll also ask, like, what's her versatility? Has she done any book covers? Has she done anything like creative or kind of, you know, a little more out there? And then if the agent is like, not really, just works for Chico's or, you know, stuff like that, then they might come back to you. I'm assuming they may come back to you and be like, well, she has a great look, but she hasn't really, you know, done any book covers or anything like really creative outside of her regular catalog. Then maybe leave it up to you, and if you want to take the chance or not, I don't know. You can.
The model that we used for this shoot, going back to this one, she came in, and the author was very specific. She really wanted this model. She's beautiful, and she's petite. But what we did to her was incredible.
Yeah.
So you should. It's
I can't remember her name. She was kind of tough to deal with, so we never had her back.
the model.
The model.
She was a little tough. She goes, I really only shoot beauty, and I was like, you're gonna be so beautiful, but I'm just gonna put a lot of blood on you. And she was like, like real blood? I was like, no, it's fake blood, see? And I was like, look. And she was like, are you gonna pour it on me? And I was like, yes. So I'm gonna use a sponge, and I'm gonna apply blood to you. And on your knuckles, I said, but you're gonna hold this head, but you get to hold a phone like you're taking a selfie with this severed head. And she was just looked at me like, I usually do beauty. And I was like I said, you're gonna look really beautiful when we're done. And by the end of that day, she was having a really good time. But we had her foot on sandbags. Later, it's another head. And then she's holding a severed head. And she's in a tutu that has blood all over it. So it's actually
it's a true story. I mean, that was
true story.
Yeah. Otherwise, you know,
she got into it after a while.
I mean, we do run in these situations where we will have from an agency somebody who's never worked on a book cover before, and it terrifies us. So we don't like to do that, but we have run into those situations. We just got to do a lot more coaching, a lot more work.
He gets really quiet, and I get very chatty. So I try to help them. Like, I try to figure out the mood.
I walk out.
He gets so nervous, and he's like, should we just send him back? I'm like, no, we're here. We gotta work. We gotta do this. Like, we can do this. And you know, we have music on. We try to get them relaxed in the mood, and ask what kind of music do you like? And then we just put it really loud. And if they're alone, it's sometimes it is difficult. And sometimes if they don't know how to move, I'm like, that can be hard. I'm like, eyes to camera, relax the face. Like I was saying before, for the men and women, if we want them really, pumped up, we have them do push-ups. But a lot of times, if they're modeling for a long time, in one position, we have them, shake out their face a little bit because they just start, tightening up. if they're new and they're not used to doing that?
Fans help. We have water effects. If we don't like the expression they're giving us, if they're supposed to be,
Just spray 'em with
we just
water.
spray them with water.
And we're being serious.
Yeah, it works like a charm. All of a sudden, they're in
does.
character.
It really does.
So-
We're like, oh, and then their
Yep.
face is loose, right? Because
Yeah.
they were like,
But a lot of it is just to distract them from what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
So like people like Devin, people like some of the other models. They're so in character. It blows our minds. They could be some of the better actors we've ever seen. But
yes. Another really great thing that we offer is, I don't know if anyone here has had their own cover shoot done, but we always bring the author in, whether they come in person or on FaceTime, Zoom, whatever. We always have you come in. Let's say we're shooting for like an hour, 2 hours, so we have something to show you, and then just for you to meet your model. It's really important for you to make that connection with them also. And sometimes we'll call earlier if we feel like the model's not really getting it. So we'll get the author on, and then they like talk to them and they're like, hi, it's nice to meet you, or you look great, or we want to make sure that you're also happy. So do you like the way this is looking? Do you like how the model looks? Do you want any other poses? So that's why we always say, anybody want to see another pose? Is there something you would like to see? If you have something in your mind of how you might want your character, we could try it out. Like, you think you want them to go like this, but maybe when you actually see it done, you're like, oh, that's not really what I'm looking for. So there's a lot of that. So it's important for you to share in the experience. It's very important. And it's also really exciting, right? Wouldn't it be exciting?
So have you ever done Amish?
A model came to us, she was 16, and she said, this is really exciting because I usually do Amish covers. And we haven't, but we would be happy to. Yeah. Yeah. Right. The models, they come, and like I said, she was holding a severed head. Like, they'll do whatever they're hired to do. When we did Lucinda Brandt's covers, there was one where she was in a very long, modest dress, right? She was supposed to be like 16, and it was just really simple, and she did have a cap on, and it was just a long, simple dress, but they're happy to do it. Like, they're really get into the character. I did look at some Amish covers before we came here, because I was like, we're going to meet people who are looking for that, and we have to address this. I think it's really important. Women of color, men of color, like someone asked me if we have kids. We don't, because children models are really difficult to get.
they go to school. And so it's a problem during the day. And they have to bring their parents.
And we, he has a daughter and I have a daughter, and on the weekends we don't shoot because we are with our families. Yeah.
But if let's say an Amish project did come in, we would educate ourselves to the whole thing.
Absolutely.
We'd get really well briefed by the author.
And,
do all the
and
research.
we would need guidance on getting the costumes and what you're looking for and how to find them. I mean, I source everything. A lot of times we have costumes custom made. So that could be really, really important. Like, if there's a very specific necklace that you need, we would probably have it made. If we can't somehow figure it out, we would have it made.
It just adds personal touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If you have those things in your story, like your character has a magic ring, we want to know that, because we want our model to wear the ring. And we'll just put any ring on, and then we make that ring later, unless you have the ring. Maybe you have the ring. Who has their jewelry? Haley Edwards. Haley Edwards has her jewelry made, so she just sent it. She sends it and we use it.
And again, it enhances the branding of the series.
Absolutely.
So we can build on that. Yeah. Anything specific?
Any other questions?
All right. We have 10 minutes. Any ideas?
Ask now.
What shall we do?
Yeah.
Steve, you want to get up here and pose with Devin?
Maybe some romance poses.
So,
Oh.
right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are we going to do that? Okay.
Well, Devin's a professional, so she is going to pretend like someone is with her. Yeah, of course. Romance is alone, of course. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Shirt day. It doesn't affect the mood at all.
Desperado.
Now, do you feel you need some direction from us? All right, I feel like you're doing it really, really well. Well, you know what? Let's move this way to the left. Come on, you gotta get on your mark. You gotta get on your mark.
Sorry.
That was funny. All right. I'm convinced. Denial.
That was clean when you laughed.
All right. That was awesome.
Very, very, very nice. So great.
Fantastic. I guess we'll, any final questions? More questions? A while.
We started last week.
People might think we're too old for this, but yeah. How long, Devin? One more.
So Devin met
Yeah.
Gene about 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Gene and I started working together. It's almost been 5 years.
Yep.
5 glorious years.
Yeah, so for us as a team, we've
Yeah.
got a solid 5, and it's been amazing.
Mhm.
Well, it's probably going on closer to 15. Like I said, we don't want to talk about that. But it helps with the level of experience. I mean, as we were doing this, I was just thinking about all the crazy things we've been through. Devin just had a baby 4 months ago, by the way. Okay. Devin was a 2 for the longest time, and now we got a sexy 4.6. I mean, I'm just saying.
She looks great in the size 6. I'm
And
telling
she
you,
brought her
this is
husband and baby
perfect.
with her. So
The
not
baby's
baby.
at home.
Okay, but no, just incredible. Like I think every single shoot is an adventure.
Yes.
You don't
Always.
walk in and just find it a simple day.
No. And well, I know I love what I do. I believe
I love it.
He loves it. It's amazing, and I'm always so excited to work with authors, and because their excitement excites me. And when we're in the studio working, I love the energy, and I love what the authors bring, because it's really exciting to bring that to life for you. It's very fulfilling.
Yeah, in fact, let's say, we were blessed with a job from like Netflix. They'd hand us all the assets.
Right.
Here, we actually get to create the character with you, which is the biggest honor we could ever ask for.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is our favorite thing to do. We love our photo shoots. I mean,
Yeah.
we love doing this. We love the compositing too, but that can be a little, well, the whole aspect, there's stress and joy in every aspect step, right? And
The compositing is that's when we bicker.
well,
a little bit.
each
I mean, it's always
phase
like
has its joy and agony, I guess.
It's
you
like,
know? I mean,
but
like, I think one of the reasons why we're so thrilled when we have great talent is because we all of a sudden have secured this great project for our clients, and then the next step is, okay, we got to composite and do the type, and there's all these steps. But that's the first one, is getting the shots down.
And something we did not mention is we do BTS. We do behind the scenes. So if you, let's say you have a photo shoot done, we would have a camera going so that later on you could use that. You could use the BTS for your all of your your media marketing. You can put it on your website. You can say, coming soon, and give them a little snippet of what was happening, and then the covers are going to take a little time to do, but it's really exciting stuff. It's
We've
really
even
great.
done, you've done a very professional level interview with authors.
I have. Lucinda Brandt, they asked us to do an interview, and it was quite amazing. I think you can find it. Where is
It's
that?
on our website. It's on our YouTube channel.
It's on our website and our YouTube channel.
Which, we've got, we've done everything. We've done book trailers.
Yep.
We've done high-level interviews.
Yep.
The BTS is something we thought people would enjoy. It's a behind-the-scenes video, but there have been times when we've actually been able to extract some of that footage and put it into other book trailers for clients. So, again, it just goes back to load up on the assets. And
the more you have, the more you can, you want to market yourself. It's all about your marketing. Also, we do cover kit design. So that is.
Wow, you want to talk about that?
Well, I thought we could just drop a little hint.
So
if you're really interested.
Yeah, so GS Stock Art and Photography has, what we feel is the best stock site on the planet. And then we wanted to back it up with offering some training and we have a live webinar every month where we go through composite techniques, and we're developing a program that we think is very, very, very sophisticated for compositing.
Yeah.
And
so you can really see how it all comes together. But we have two websites. So we have GM and we have GS. So the stock site, if you're not ready for, if you're not ready to do a custom photo shoot.
And you feel like you want a model with a red rim light and a black tank.
Yeah, you can visit our stock site later and purchase that. And the prices start at what I don't even know, like $18,
The prices
$24.
start at like $27 for the basic license. And then if you have an expanded need, like say in-store book sales, it goes up higher.
Yeah.
And so forth. But
So, feel free to check that out. We have some cards here. So you can just go onto the QR code, and it takes you directly to our site.
yeah, sure.
So I would, you could take both. We have GM and GS. There's GM. Devin's going to hand them out. GS.
Yeah, so, one of the reasons why we got into photography, a long time ago was because we found it hard to cobble from stock. We found it very difficult and time consuming. Also, art directors weren't real good at describing what they wanted. So we had to form a system where if they could describe what they wanted, we could actually deliver it.
Mhm.
And so we started to focus more in the photography, and we've stayed there ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And the indie authors are wonderful to work with.
The best.
Always the best, because
Love it.
When it's, from a publisher, it's like there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, different experience.
And it's like one cover, just one.
Yeah, they produce one a year.
Yeah, just one. But when you have an indie author and we get to, learn about you and get the background of your, the world that you're building, it's a shared experience. Yeah. It's a lot of collaborative work. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for coming in.
Check out our sites, both of them. And feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, if you want to talk about, art, if you want to set up a shoot, if you have questions about our stock site. We did we launch it?
Yes.
The pre-mades?
Yes.
Okay, so we have 15 pre-mades that are up on our stock site right now. Get them while they're hot.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you so much.